All right, hey, it's Bortone. Welcome back to our video series, Women Who Rock. And another woman who rocks is Catherine Avery. How you doing, Catherine?
I'm great. Thanks, Lou, for having me on. I'm looking forward to talking with you today.
Thanks, and thank you for doing this. Like many of my colleagues, I know Catherine from the Shank Minds Mastermind Group, which is awesome. We get to see each other a couple times a year usually. And tell folks a little bit about what you do, and then I'll ask you more specifically about video stuff after.
Sure. So my company is called Productivity by Design, and it can be found online at productivitybydesign.com. Very simple. And I have an interior design background, a corporate financial background, and a background in productivity. And my goal is to work with busy executives who don't have enough time on their hands, or they're frustrated because they can't find a piece of paper that the boss is looking for right now. And I help them create an efficient workspace that works for them specifically. So I use a whole variety of different systems to help people, and it's very customized and individualized, and it's amazing to see the results my clients can get once they've got a space that they can work in that is efficient, productive, makes them feel really good about themselves. Some of my clients' big focus is how they feel from a well-being standpoint.
Right.
You know, think of sit-stand desks and things along that line, air quality, natural light, etc. So I spend a good deal of time talking about those aspects of design when I'm meeting with my clients.
Oh, that's cool. My wife calls me an inferior decorator instead of an interior decorator.
Oh, why?
But I do have my my little winter sad light, my blue light that gives me some vitamin D, hopefully, for those long East Coast winters. But tell us also.
I have one.
What's that?
I have one as well, and I would recommend Nikon, INKKEN makes a really good one. That's what you would call full spectrum lighting, and it helps. It's closer to natural light, which helps you in the winter when you're feeling very down and out and gray and grim. I have one on my desk as well. It makes a huge difference.
Yeah, awesome. So that's a good segue to talk a little bit about lighting in general in terms of design, aesthetic, and that kind of thing for video. I'm kind of experimenting with different lights. I look a little, it's almost Halloween, so I look a little orangey here. But in general, what suggestions do you have in terms of people for their background, for their design, you know, the whole aesthetic of the video? Because you're not just looking at a talking head, you're also looking at whatever's in your background or environment.
Well, actually, I'm admiring your background right now, Lou. I mean, that's a phenomenal view you've got in that room.
I know, it's interesting because, well, here's
is it?
The real deal. And these, I love these because they're like $20 on Amazon. It's just a piece of fabric, and I put it up in the background, and it's got this illusion of like, oh, look, I'm in this nice, you know, office or something. But some folks just like, it's, you know, it depends. Well, this is where my laptop is usually, or this is where my computer is, so this is where I have to do my video, you know. So what would you suggest?
Well, it's interesting you bring that up. So you definitely fooled me. I was sure that you were sitting in some corporate space with this wonderful view, and I was like, go Lou.
Yeah.
So I work from home office. I just have attractive things behind me, artwork and nice lamps. You'll note that the lights are not on in the lamps. That is because then you would have this glowing orb behind my head that just wouldn't work, right? So, and in fact, ironically, and you can even see it in this video, that one light over there always is distracting. So it's, I just don't keep a bulb in it, which is hilarious, but it's just sort of my little inexpensive way of having the right lighting when I'm on video here. The other lights overhead are on. And I also, to this hand, which is my right hand, I'm set at a 90-degree angle, although right now I'm sitting at a 45-degree angle to the light from the windows. So as you can see, the natural light's coming in, hitting my face. And the reason I bring these things up is you don't want to drop a ton of money unless you're someone who's doing a lot of video like you are. Now, I know a lot of people who buy the cowboy light kits.
Right.
They're very reasonably priced. I've recommended them for a ton of clients.
Mm-hmm.
One of my clients does a lot of communications consulting, and we created her video conference room taking into account lighting, so
Mm-hmm.
using those boxes, light boxes, and corporate branding, what was on the wall behind her that worked with who her company is,
Right.
and sound. And now I'm going to show you how we married sound and corporate brand.
Mm-hmm.
We purchased through a company I'm aware of that custom designs. They take your logo and they put it on, say, a 2-foot by 3-foot piece of artwork.
Mm-hmm.
And it's your big logo on this piece of artwork that's really technically a sound absorption
cool
piece.
Yeah.
And we put a couple of those in, and these companies also make them where it looks like art that's on these sound absorption
Mm-hmm.
materials. Their video conferencing room is in a lower level with a low ceiling. So we needed additional surfaces to help muffle the sound. So I'll give you an example. If you've ever been in a very noisy restaurant, look up, and if you see that the ceiling is all sort of open and there's nowhere for the sound to bounce, there's nowhere to dissipate the sound. So that's a lot of what goes on behind video and sound.
Mm-hmm.
Another client had something similar, and they are under what's called ITAR regulations, which is a very strict governmental control about how information is dispersed. And their video conference room, we built the walls, I think 7 inches thick with additional insulation. And we alternated. So, you know, when you see your walls, you know, 16 inches on center, we did this. So did you see how I subtly changed that? So the spaces in between, you would weave the insulation in between. So you would never have nails running directly through transmitting sound.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, it's amazing what you can do to help soundproof an area. Now, when you're home, that's not very realistic.
Yeah.
So you could hang a wall covering, something heavier that would help mute sound and work around it. You and I worked with a client where we got her a rug and made these suggestions about the artwork and whatnot. And then she was much happier with how her videography was going in her home office. Yeah. So there are less expensive ways to do these things that we do for corporate clients, you know, where we spend crazy money putting in, the structure, you know, when you're building from the ground up. When you're living in a home, you have to sort of think, what can I do that's reasonably priced? So I don't have too much sound reverberation in here, so I don't have to worry. But conceivably, all that art could have been these special artworks on the heavy material that absorbs some of the sound.
That's cool. I mean, there's almost a science to it. So, you know, I mean, the environment and the background is really important. And that's why I like when we worked with that client and like, okay, well, let's see, because you basically, with video, I think most people want a place where they can kind of set it and forget it. It's like, okay, this is where I do my video. If I want a different background, I just hang a different, fabric behind me. So
I think that's fantastic. And I've actually debated doing something like that. It's the lamps that kind of mess me up. I would really have to figure out a different way to sit to get that to work. And I love those lamps. They have meaning to me. I think part of my brand is very much about how do you personalize a space to make it really about you, even if you are in a corporate office environment. And so those lamps speak to that in my brand. And that's why I haven't ever gone to a backdrop, even though it's really tempting. It looks so fun.
I know.
Do you do green screen?
I do. I haven't done too much recently, but yeah, I mean, that's kind of fun because you can basically put anything you want behind you, as you know. And once in a while, clients will send me footage on green screen, and then I can drop in a background. So that's always fun. But I think, you know, being in a small space like this and just having a nice nice white flat wall gives me the ability. I just literally tack it up to the wall, and if you know, it looks fairly realistic. So and it's better than the mess that is my real office. So, but
Uh-oh.
the other thing I see a lot of folks, like, within the composition and the frame, and like, okay, well, this is way too high and this is way too low. You want to make sure that you're somewhat framed and that your composition isn't way off, so people aren't looking up your nose. So,
Right.
so
And also, I think in mine, I tend to have a corner,
mm-hmm,
and I would not normally recommend that for most of my clients. A flat wall is better.
mm-hmm,
But for me, because I'm a designer
yeah,
and I design spaces, I feel like the corner lets people see I'm in a room, and
right,
it kind of gives them that additional feedback of, oh, of course, she's working in a room, and the room is set
yeah,
to who she is.
that's cool.
So, and
Great.
she'll be able to do that for me,
Yeah,
right?
yep. So where
So
can folks find you if they want to fix their interior, if they want to get any kind of design assistance with that kind of stuff? Is it
I have a
by
website
design
called
the best way?
productivitybydesign.com.
Mm-hmm.
I put up a blog post article about every other week. So there's lots of great information, everything from design techniques to occasionally a discussion about work I'm doing for a client, to lots of productivity pointers and strategies. And it's you can read more about me, you can see my portfolio. And I genuinely love working with people in their offices. I love to help them get to the point where they feel amazingly great about themselves in their office space, because our environments have energy,
Yeah.
and you want positive energy in your life. You don't want negative energy.
Mm-hmm.
And so, things like clutter, or that gift you were given by some client that, you don't really want, those things should be out of your space. You should have really things that make you feel really good. So
Mm-hmm. Excellent advice.
that's why I do what I do.
Thank you so much. Great speaking with you, and I hope we'll see you again soon. I'll put your link below once we wrap up this video and let you know when it is live.
Great. Thank you so much, Liv, for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.